Chosen one. You are not here by coincidence. Heaven has aligned this exact moment with divine precision, and your spirit was summoned to hear what is about to be released. Anointed one, you are standing at the threshold of a supernatural shift, a divine wealth transfer, prepared long before you ever prayed for it. What God is moving in your life now is sacred, silent, and unstoppable. The word says to everything there is a season, and your season of lack has ended. Open your heart, steady your spirit, because what you're about to receive is not information, it is impartation. Chosen one. What I am about to say requires your full spirit, not just your ears. This word is not casual, it is not motivational, it is not meant to entertain you. It is meant to position you. Heaven is moving, and you are standing in the middle of a divine rearrangement you didn't ask for, but were chosen for. And the first thing God is saying in this hour is simple but heavy: move in silence. Chosen one. The reason this instruction feels weighty is because what God is setting up around you is weighty. You are stepping into a supernatural shift, a divine promotion, a financial and spiritual transfer so sudden and so precise that even people who prayed for you will stand in disbelief. And God is saying, hold this one close. Keep this between us. Not because He wants you isolated, but because what He is forming in you is too sacred to be exposed too early. I know what this feels like. There are seasons when God moves so quietly that even you wonder if anything is happening. I've lived through those moments where it felt like heaven was silent, but later I realized heaven wasn't silent at all. It was building. It was aligning. It was protecting what I kept trying to reveal too soon. And chosen one, many of your delays were not because you lacked faith, but because the wrong people were watching the right blessing too closely. You know this instinctively. Every time you celebrated too early, someone's energy shifted. Every time you shared your plans, something fell apart. Every time you trusted the wrong ears, the process slowed down. It took me years to understand this. Not everyone who listens is loyal, and not everyone who claps is clean. Silence in God's hands is not restriction. It is strategy. Chosen one. The realm of the Spirit is stirring around you in ways your mind can't fully interpret yet. Something is breaking open, not loudly but precisely. God is about to open doors with no human key. The kind of doors that don't need endorsements, connections, or explanations. The kind that unlock simply because heaven has decided it is your time. And with that kind of breakthrough comes new instruction: be still, be silent, be obedient. I remember a season in my own life when I felt invisible. Every idea, every step, every prayer felt like it disappeared into the air. I thought I was being overlooked. I didn't know God was hiding me, protecting me, guarding my next chapter from the eyes and hands that would have mishandled it. In hindsight, God wasn't late. He was covering me. And chosen one, He's covering you now. You may feel the pressure to share good news prematurely. You may want to prove to others that your faith wasn't foolish. You may want to explain your progress, justify your decisions, defend your calling. But hear this clearly: this blessing is not for display, it is for destiny. And destiny demands discipline. Silence is not suppression. Silence is shelter. It is the greenhouse where God grows miracles. Chosen one. The Spirit is whispering to you even now. You can feel that tug, that inner knowing that something is shifting in the unseen, that strange peace in areas that used to torment you, that quiet confidence rising behind your ribs. And maybe like me, you've questioned it. You've wondered why there's a pull to hide, to pull back, to observe more and speak less. You've wondered why conversations feel different, why certain people feel distant, why your spirit grows uncomfortable around noise. It's because you are entering a season where your silence will speak louder than your voice ever could. Listen. When God gets ready to elevate you, He doesn't announce it to the crowds. He whispers it to your spirit. He tucks it into your heart. He seals it behind the veil of stillness. Think of Esther, chosen one. Before she ever entered the throne room, her preparation happened in silence. Think of Moses. Before the staff split the sea, God hid him in a basket. Think of Jesus himself. Before his public calling, he moved in 30 years of quiet obedience. Elevation always begins in the unseen. And anointed one, your unseen season is ending. Something is emerging. And, like a fragile seed pushing through the soil, it must be protected from those who are not prepared to understand it. Not everyone has the spiritual maturity to handle your becoming. Not everyone has the purity to handle your blessing. And not everyone has the character to walk with you into the chapter God is writing next. So God says, stay quiet, stay close, stay hidden in me. Chosen one. Everything around you is shifting. Your spirit can feel it. Your atmosphere is changing. Your discernment is sharpening. The fog is thinning, and heaven is guiding you into a supernatural alignment that will change everything connected to you. But it begins here with silence, with stillness, with obedience. This is your moment. Chosen one, lean in. Because now we move deeper into what heaven is building around you. This isn't ordinary construction. This isn't casual blessing. What God is assembling in the background of your life is precise, delicate, and spiritually time-sensitive. And whether you realize it or not, you are already in the middle of a supernatural setup that your natural mind cannot yet comprehend. You've been sensing it, that inner pull, that quiet restlessness, that shift in your spirit that you can't quite articulate. It's the feeling of being carried somewhere elevated somehow without seeing the full staircase. That's not confusion, chosen one. That's divine momentum. Heaven is engineering something for you that cannot be interfered with and cannot be rushed. But to receive it, you must understand this God hides what He's about to reveal. And He reveals only what He has already secured. I used to fight seasons of silence. I thought silence meant inactivity. I thought the lack of noise meant the lack of progress. But the truth, the quietest seasons are often the holiest. They are the seasons where God is not just working for you, but working in you, strengthening your discipline, sharpening your discernment, detoxing your spirit from the noise of the old chapter. Chosen one, this is exactly where you are. God is doing a work in your life that cannot be explained to everyone. Some people around you want updates, details, access explanations. They want to know why you're withdrawing, why you're quieter, why you've stopped confiding in them the way you used to. They may not say it out loud, but they feel the shift. And here's the truth. Your spirit has outgrown some of the rooms that used to feel comfortable. This is what elevation feels like. Not loud, not dramatic, subtle, sacred, quiet. I've lived this. I've had moments where God separated me from voices I depended on, from environments I thought were permanent, from routines that once felt familiar. And at the time it felt like loss. It felt like loneliness. But later, I understood it wasn't isolation, it was insulation. God was protecting the transformation happening inside me. Chosen one, that's your story right now. You are being insulated for increase. Heaven is sealing your next season so that nothing contaminated, nothing envious, nothing unaligned can sabotage what God is preparing to release. Because what's coming isn't random blessing, anointed one. What's coming is inheritance, and inheritance must be guarded. You are stepping into a financial shift that requires quietness, a divine opportunity that requires maturity, a supernatural transfer that requires spiritual discipline. This is why you feel drawn inward, drawn to prayer, drawn to silence. It's not a mood, it's not a phase, it's the Holy Spirit adjusting your posture for what's ahead. There is a reason your spirit feels heavy one moment and excited the next. A reason you feel calm even when you can't see the full picture. A reason you've been waking up with clarity in areas that used to confuse you. These are indicators that heaven is reorganizing your path. You're being prepared for increase, not the kind the world gives, but the kind that comes from alignment, obedience, and divine timing. Chosen one. The doors God is opening for you in this season will not require you to push. They won't require you to beg. They won't require you to chase. They will open because heaven has authorized them. And yet the instruction remains: move in silence. Not everyone needs to know about the interview. Not everyone needs to hear about the idea God gave you. Not everyone needs access to the business plan, the vision, the relationship, the breakthrough. Some people don't want updates, they want entry. Some don't want to celebrate, they want control. Some don't want to support, they want to monitor. I've seen it. I've lived it. And God taught me something through experience, something that I pass on to you with love and authority. There are blessings that only survive when kept in the soil of silence, like a seed. If you dig it up too early to show someone its progress, you kill the growth that was happening underground. Chosen one, your growth is underground right now, hidden but happening, quiet but powerful, unseen but undeniable. And heaven is saying, stay silent. I'm still shaping this. Right now, God is eliminating interference, shutting down distractions, and clearing out spiritual noise. Conversations that used to drain you are disappearing. People who were tied to your old chapter are falling away. Even your own desires are being restructured. You are craving peace more than attention, clarity more than validation, presence more than performance. This is divine evolution. God is detoxing your atmosphere because what's coming requires a different version of you, a quieter version, a steadier version, a wiser version. The version of you that doesn't need to announce every victory because the victory itself will announce you. Chosen one, hear this with your spirit, not just your ears. The next blessing God releases is going to expose every person who was never meant to come with you. So God is preparing you now, softly, quietly, privately. Because the reveal is coming, the release is coming, the reversal is coming, the restoration is coming. And when it appears, it will happen quickly. But right now, heaven is still building, and you must protect the construction with silence. Chosen one. As we move deeper into what heaven is orchestrating around your life, understand this: you are not simply progressing, you are being propelled. There is a force behind you, a wind at your back, a supernatural push that is shifting you from survival into assignment, from waiting into walking, from obscurity into ordained visibility. And yet, the way God is doing it remains quiet, strategic, hidden. He is promoting you in a way that protects you. Chosen one. The most dangerous thing God can give someone is exposure before they have foundation. And that is why your rise has felt slow. Not still, but slow. There were moments when it felt like nothing was moving. Moments when you saw others accelerating while you were still trying to find your footing. Moments when you were prepared but not positioned. But now everything is happening at once. The slow building is over. The silent stretching is complete. The foundations God laid in private are now ready to carry what He is releasing in public. And hear this, the reason your breakthrough will look sudden is because your preparation was silent. I've lived this in my own life. There were years when God worked on me internally, pruning, pulling, correcting, refining. Seasons where I begged for things I wasn't ready to carry. Seasons when God said not yet, and my heart heard not ever. But later I realized every delay was a disguised blessing. Every weight was a wall protecting me from a door I wasn't prepared to walk through. And when God finally released me into the next season, it looked like an overnight miracle, but it wasn't. It was a quiet build, just like yours. Chosen, One Heaven has been building your next chapter brick by brick. Every painful lesson, every closed door, every lonely night, every shift in your spirit, every moment you were misunderstood, all of it has been part of a blueprint, a divine structure, a spiritual architecture designed for your destiny. Now that the foundation is ready, the acceleration begins. But acceleration requires silence. You don't announce a seed, you announce the harvest. And, Anointed One, your harvest season is approaching. Not someday, not eventually, now. But heaven is very intentional. Before breakthrough comes visibility, and before visibility comes protection. God is covering you because this blessing will be large enough to draw attention, and attention is not always alignment. That is why He is telling you, stay silent for now. Let me finish this. Chosen One, doors are shifting in your favor, even as you listen. Conversations about your name are happening behind closed doors you don't even know exist. People are being stirred by God to bless you, support you, open opportunities for you. Resources are being aligned, divine connections are being prepared, and the beauty, you haven't had to force any of it. This isn't networking. This is heaven working. There will be moments soon where you will step into a room and realize the favor arrived before you did. Where opportunities fall into your hands without you chasing them. Where financial provision comes from unexpected places, not because you strived, but because you aligned. This is the supernatural momentum God creates when His timing intersects your obedience. And yes, it feels strange, it feels unreal, it feels too still, too quiet, too calm. Every major divine shift carries this sensation: the peace before the promotion, the quiet before the unveiling, the holy stillness that signals heaven is finishing something. Chosen One, don't mistake this stillness for stagnation. Stillness is not inactivity. Stillness is incubation. When God is getting ready to elevate you, He wraps you in silence so the blessing can grow without interference. Think of Joseph. One day he was in the prison. The next day he was in the palace. No warning, no announcement, no gradual transition, just suddenly. Your suddenly is approaching. But hear me, suddenly does not mean randomly. It means divinely timed. And because your next chapter is timed by God, you must guard your spirit. You must guard your conversations. You must guard your circle. Not everyone can handle the weight of your next season. Not everyone will celebrate your elevation. Some will question it. Some will envy it. Some will try to attach themselves to it. But they won't understand that this moment wasn't manufactured. It was assigned. You didn't climb here, you were carried here, chosen. One, this is why God is teaching you restraint. It takes strength to stay silent when you want to speak. It takes maturity to wait when you want to announce. It takes faith to remain hidden while heaven prepares your reveal. But that is what makes you ready. I've had moments when I wanted to prove myself. Moments when I wanted to show people what God was doing. Moments when I wanted validation, acknowledgement, reassurance. And God whispered to me what He is whispering to you now. Let me speak for you. Chosen. 1. Your life is about to speak. The fruit is about to speak. The peace is about to speak. The transformation is about to speak. The breakthrough is about to speak. And when it speaks, it will silence every doubt, every critic, every lie, every fear that once stood against you. But for now, silence is your strategy. Stillness is your strength. Obedience is your shield. Because heaven is not done building, and your elevation is closer than you think. Chosen one, before we step deeper into what heaven is aligning for you, I need you to understand something profoundly sacred. What God is getting ready to release through your life is being built on battles nobody saw you fight. People saw your smile, but they didn't see your surrender. They heard your words, but they didn't hear your warfare. They felt your presence, but they never felt the pressure you carried. Your breakthrough is being born from a place the world will never fully comprehend because it wasn't meant to. Some miracles are not made in public. They are formed in silence, pain, and private obedience. And chosen one, that is exactly why your next move is holy. Heaven trusts you with what it could not give to everyone. You need to know this. Your silence has been your sanctuary. There were moments in your life when you didn't have the strength to explain yourself, when you didn't have the words to articulate what you were becoming, when you didn't understand the shifts in your own spirit. And instead of demanding that you speak, God wrapped you in quiet. He hid you not because you were weak, but because you were being transformed. Chosen one. Every season of breaking you endured was actually a season of building. Every moment you questioned your worth, God was increasing your resilience. Every night your heart felt heavy, heaven was expanding your capacity. I've walked through seasons where I could barely recognize myself, where everything familiar fell apart, where prayers felt empty and silence felt suffocating. I thought God was absent, but later I discovered He was the closest, reshaping me, refining me, preparing me for the life I was praying for. Maybe you felt that too. That ache, that shift, that inexplicable pressure inside your spirit. Chosen one, that wasn't depression, that wasn't confusion, that wasn't failure. It was becoming. It was the deep internal construction of a destiny that demanded more strength than you had at the time, so heaven built the strength for you. Now look at where you are. Still standing, still believing, still reaching, still hoping, still responding to the tug of the Spirit. That alone is evidence that heaven has been involved in your story long before you realized it. But now, a new phase is beginning, one that demands a different version of you. This next season is not about survival, it's about stewardship. Your blessing is not fragile, but the process of birthing it is. And the enemy understands something most people do not. Breakthrough begins in the unseen before it manifests in the seen. This is why the warfare intensified before your shift. This is why friendships fell away unexpectedly. This is why old environments felt uncomfortable. This is why your spirit outgrew conversations you once tolerated. Your life was being stretched to fit your future. And now heaven is asking you to protect that stretching. Chosen one. You cannot take everyone where you're going. You cannot explain everything God is telling you. You cannot justify every decision heaven leads you to make. The journey God has you on requires obedience without audience. I've been there feeling misunderstood, feeling alone, feeling like people viewed my withdrawal as weakness. But later, I realized when God pulls you inward, it's because He's getting ready to launch you outward, and your launch is near. The pullback you feel is divine preparation. Think of a slingshot. Before it releases, it pulls back. Before it launches, it hides what it is about to propel. The backward tension is what creates forward momentum. This is you, chosen one. Heaven has pulled you back only to release you with supernatural force. And here's the truth most people miss. Silence is not just protection, it is propulsion. Your quietness is not passive, it is powerful. Your hidden season is not empty, it is loaded. Your stillness is not inactivity, it is incubation. God is setting you up for a move so sudden, so divine, so undeniable, that it will reveal why you had to walk through everything alone, everything quietly, everything carefully. Chosen one, you are on the brink of a spiritual metamorphosis. Your identity is shifting, your discernment is sharpening. Your atmosphere is clearing, your spirit is awakening. You're not just stepping into blessing, you are stepping into identity, authority, and assignment. This is why heaven is whispering the same instruction over and over again. Be silent, be still, be ready, because the birthing is happening. The shift is underway. The acceleration has already begun. And soon, very soon, everything that was forming quietly will appear suddenly. Chosen one, your becoming is holy, and heaven is not finished speaking. Chosen one. As we continue, let your spirit receive this truth. Your atmosphere is being cleansed by God Himself. The shift you feel around you, the emotional distance from certain people, the sudden clarity in your mind, the desire for peace over noise, this is not random. It is divine engineering. Heaven is making room for what your next season requires. There is a supernatural cleansing happening around your life, one that most people never recognize until the dust settles. But you can feel it. You can sense the rearrangement. You can sense the spiritual vacuum pulling away what no longer belongs. And I need you to understand this: God is removing what your spirit outgrew long before your mind admitted it. Chosen one, you've been carrying weights that were never meant for your next level. The opinions of others, the pressure to perform, the need to prove yourself. The responsibility for people who refuse to grow, the emotional ties to relationships that drained your peace. And little by little, God has been peeling those layers off you, not to punish you, but to prepare you. You cannot run into the future while dragging a past that refuses to move. I've lived this deeply. There were moments when God pulled individuals out of my life, and I fought it. I felt abandoned. I felt rejected. I asked why. Now looking back, I realize that every removal was a rescue. Every closed connection was divine protection. Heaven saw what I couldn't see: hidden jealousy, quiet sabotage, spiritual misalignment. And chosen one, God sees it in your life too. The reason people faded without explanation, the reason conversations became draining, the reason you felt uneasy around certain energies, the reason familiar places felt foreign. It's because your spirit upgraded before your surroundings did. God is not just elevating your life, He is elevating your environment. And here's something I need you to truly embrace. Elevation always comes with separation. Not because you are better than anyone, but because what God placed inside you is too valuable to be surrounded by what cannot honor it. Some people loved your old version, but they cannot handle who you are becoming. Some were attached to your wounds, but not your healing. Some were invested in your confusion, but not your clarity. And so God had to clear the atmosphere. Chosen one. Heaven is not removing people from you. Heaven is removing you from what was limiting you. You may not have realized this yet, but your silence has been exposing hearts. Your peace has been irritating demons. Your growth has been unsettling complacent spirits. Your obedience has been agitating environments not aligned with God's plan for you. And now God is saying, let me clean the path so you can walk freely. Allow him to do it. Trust him in it. You don't need to chase anyone he is releasing. You don't need to cling to anything he is removing. You don't need to defend what heaven is dismantling, because chosen one, the removal is not rejection. It is preparation for release. And the release is approaching with divine force. God is sending peace before he sends promotion. You've cried enough. You've fought enough. You've explained yourself enough. You've apologized enough. You've carried burdens that should have been surrendered long ago. Now, God is lifting the weight quietly and completely. Chosen one, imagine waking up and feeling light again. Imagine breathing without anxiety gripping your chest. Imagine walking into your day without emotional heaviness. Imagine clarity replacing confusion. Imagine calmness replacing chaos. This is the atmosphere God is preparing for your next chapter. You cannot receive abundance while surrounded by environments built on lack. You cannot walk into elevation while surrounded by people committed to stagnation. You cannot carry divine purpose while surrounded by voices that diminish it. So heaven is clearing the noise. Let me tell you something only people who've walked real spiritual journeys understand. Sometimes God removes people you thought were permanent because their presence would poison your future. And though it hurts, it saves you. Chosen one. The peace you are stepping into is not ordinary peace. This is prophetic peace. This is alignment peace. This is destiny peace. The kind of peace that signals heaven is not just touching your life. Heaven is taking over your life. And with that peace comes something greater, recognition without explanation. People will begin to feel something different about you even before the blessing fully manifests. They will sense the authority. They will sense the clarity. They will sense the shift. It won't be because of what you say, but because of what you carry. Your presence will shift atmospheres. Your silence will carry influence. Your peace will command respect. Not because of ego or pride, but because heaven's fingerprint is on you. Chosen one. The atmosphere is clearing because your spirit is rising. You are being aligned for visibility, purpose, and divine promotion. You are about to walk into a chapter where the right people, the right opportunities, the right resources, and the right timing will meet you exactly where God intends. But first, the cleansing must be complete. God is removing what cannot stay, so he can release what must come. And this cleansing is almost finished. Chosen one. As we step into this next part, let your spirit recognize the truth resonating beneath the surface of your life. The waiting season is closing and the walking season is beginning. What has felt delayed, distant, or denied is now moving toward you with supernatural speed. And this acceleration is not random, it is ordained. The same God who preserved you in silence is now preparing to promote you in power. Endurinten what endured seasons where it felt like nothing was changing. You prayed, you believed, you obeyed, and still the doors stayed closed. But hear me, just because nothing seemed to move doesn't mean nothing was moving. Heaven has its own timeline, and God often arranges the final pieces quietly right before the unveiling. This is why the shift happening around you feels different, quicker, sharper, more precise, more urgent, because heaven has determined that now, not later, is your appointed time. There is a divine quickening taking place in your spirit. You may have felt it recently, a sudden calm where there used to be fear, a spark of hope where there used to be weariness, a renewed sense of direction after months or years of uncertainty. These are not emotions. They are spiritual signals that the atmosphere around your life has changed. Chosen one. When God accelerates you, He accelerates everything connected to you. Ideas come faster. Opportunities appear suddenly. Favor increases inexplicably. Doors open without effort. People are drawn to you without explanation. Instructions become clearer. Discernment becomes sharper. This is divine alignment in motion. And listen carefully, your acceleration is not coming from striving, it is coming from surrender. So many people think that momentum is created by effort, but in the kingdom of God, momentum is created by obedience. When you stopped fighting old battles, you created room for new blessings. When you stopped forcing connections, you opened the door for divine appointments. When you let go of what drained your spirit, you made space for what would carry your destiny. Chosen one, your surrender has created momentum. Let me tell you something from my own journey. There were times when I tried to accelerate myself. Times when I rushed ahead of God, tried to manufacture progress, forced outcomes, and hustled my way into exhaustion. And each time I hit a wall. But when I finally surrendered fully, completely, without conditions, I watched God do in weeks what I couldn't do in years. This acceleration you're stepping into will feel exactly like that. Chosen one, suddenly you'll see things align. Suddenly you'll see prayers answered. Suddenly you'll see delays overturned. Suddenly you'll see the impossible shift. This is not luck. This is not chance. This is not coincidence. This is divine acceleration. Heaven is collapsing timelines that once felt immovable. God is redeeming years you thought were wasted. The Spirit is positioning you for opportunities that were reserved specifically for your purpose. You are moving into a season where your yes will carry more power than your effort ever could. And yet with acceleration comes one vital instruction, the same instruction heaven has been whispering to you from the beginning: move in silence. Why? Because acceleration attracts attention, and attention attracts interference. But silence attracts favor. Chosen one. Listen. Everyone who saw you waiting will not be allowed to witness your rising. Everyone who doubted your future will not have access to your elevation. Everyone who spoke against your calling will be silenced by your results, not your explanations. This is why God is accelerating you quietly. He is shifting you without announcement. He is lifting you without spectacle. He is preparing you without performance. Elevation without proclamation, progress without noise, breakthrough without broadcast. This is the signature of a supernatural move. Chosen one. The pace of your life is about to change. There will be moments where you look around and wonder how everything happened so fast. Moments where fear tries to rise because the blessing feels unfamiliar. Moments where your old mindset tries to pull you back into hesitation. But hear me, God does not accelerate what He does not sustain. If God is speeding things up, it means He is confident you can carry what's coming. He trusts you with increase. He trusts you with breakthrough. He trusts you with impact. He trusts you with abundance. And I need you to trust Him in return. This next season will require bold steps, not loud steps, not public steps, bold steps. Steps taken in faith, taken in obedience, taken in quiet confidence that heaven is guiding your every move. Chosen one, you are shifting from waiting to walking, from survival to strategy, from stagnation to supernatural speed, from hidden preparation to holy manifestation. And the acceleration you are entering is not temporary, it is transformational. It will reshape your relationships, your finances, your opportunities, and your spiritual authority. You are not being rushed, you are being released. You are not being pushed. You are being positioned. You are not being overwhelmed. You are being overtaken by favor, by clarity, by divine timing. Chosen one, heaven is not preparing to move. Heaven is already moving, and now you must move with it. Chosen one, as we enter this next segment, what I'm about to reveal is something only those who walk closely with God ever understand. When heaven accelerates your life, your spiritual eyes begin to awaken, not in a mystical way, but in a deeply divine and practical way. You start to see differently, you start to hear differently, you start to discern differently. This is not imagination, this is impartation. Chosen one, you have stepped into a season where God is sharpening your spiritual senses. The reason you feel more sensitive to atmospheres, the reason certain people drain you instantly, the reason you notice things you once ignored, the reason your spirit reacts faster than your mind can interpret is because your discernment is leveling up. Your spirit is hearing the footsteps of your breakthrough long before your natural life sees it. This is why you cannot ignore this inner shift. Heaven is training your sight. Let me speak to you from experience. There was a time in my life when I used to dismiss spiritual impressions. I'd feel a nudge, a whisper, a quiet warning, but I'd rationalize it away. I'd ignore the discomfort. I'd silence the intuition, and every time I did, I walked into something God was trying to protect me from. But as I matured, I realized something profound. Discernment is not paranoia, it is protection. Chosen one, the caution you've been feeling lately is not fear. It is a divine alarm. The clarity you've been sensing is not coincidence, it is revelation. The peace you feel around certain people is confirmation. The resistance you feel around others is spiritual information. Heaven is teaching you how to read the unseen. This is why certain doors feel wrong even when they look right. This is why certain opportunities feel off even though they appear promising. This is why conversations feel different, heavier, slower, or strangely energized. Your spirit recognizes what your mind hasn't caught up with yet. Chosen. One, God is awakening your prophetic intuition, not so you can predict the future, but so you can walk in alignment with it. There will be moments when you'll suddenly understand why a delay happened, why someone walked away, why a connection didn't work, why a door closed, and the revelation will come like a flash of light. God wasn't stopping you. God was saving you. This is spiritual sight. And heaven is sharpening it inside of you right now. Chosen one, you're beginning to notice patterns. You're beginning to recognize God's hand. You're beginning to see spiritual meaning behind natural events. You're beginning to catch signs, signals, confirmations that others overlook. This is not your imagination. This is your spirit maturing. You're not guessing anymore. You're discerning. You're not reacting anymore. You're responding. You're not confused anymore. You're being guided. Your steps are no longer random. They are ordered. And the more your spiritual sight awakens, the more your old identity becomes uncomfortable. The version of you that doubted yourself, that ignored your intuition, that settled for less, that feared criticism, that version of you is dissolving. God is calling forth a version of you that sees clearly, walks boldly, and discerns accurately. Chosen one, you've been sensing things before they happen, feeling shifts before they manifest, hearing God speak in subtle impressions, dreams, nudges, or inner movements. This is what the chosen experience. Heaven whispers before it reveals. God prepares your spirit before He unveils your blessing. This awakening is your confirmation that your breakthrough is near. This new spiritual sensitivity is not random, it is preparation. God is about to place you in spaces where clarity will be crucial. Opportunities will require discernment. Relationships will require wisdom. Promotion will require spiritual awareness. You cannot navigate your next level with old eyesight. Chosen one. Your vision is being upgraded because your assignment is being upgraded. You are stepping into a realm where intuition will save you from sabotage, where sensitivity to God's voice will lead you into abundance, where discernment will protect your destiny, where spiritual awareness will keep you aligned with divine timing. And yes, this awakening may make you feel alone. Not lonely, but alone in understanding. Others won't see what you see. Others won't feel what you feel. Others won't understand the urgency in your spirit. But that's because this calling is tailor-made for you. Chosen one. Your calling requires a unique kind of sight, a sight that is developing right now in real time. You may not have words for it, but your spirit recognizes it. You can feel the veil thinning. You can sense the shift approaching. You know something is coming, something big, something divine, something orchestrated by heaven. And hear me, your spiritual awakening is the final sign before your breakthrough manifests. You are not walking blind anymore. You are not stumbling through this season. You are being guided step by step, whisper by whisper, confirmation by confirmation. Your eyes are opening. Your spirit is rising. Your discernment is maturing. Your understanding is deepening. God is not just changing your life. God is changing you for the life He is about to release. Chosen one, your spiritual sight is awakening because the destiny ahead of you requires vision, not just faith. Heaven is preparing you to see what others miss. Chosen one, as we move into this part of your journey, listen with a discerning spirit, because what I'm about to reveal will help you understand one of the greatest mysteries of your life. The attacks didn't break you because they were never meant to. They were meant to position you. Heaven has been reversing what was meant for harm and converting it into momentum. Every setback you endured, every betrayal you lived through, every delay you wrestled with, every wound you carried quietly, none of it was wasted. None of it disqualified you. None of it cancelled your calling. Instead, heaven used all of it, every tear, every burden, every disappointment, as the raw material for your elevation. Chosen one. You have been wondering why God allowed so much pressure. Why certain relationships failed, why certain doors slammed shut, why certain promises were delayed, why you walked through seasons of isolation that forced you into silence. But hear me clearly now, the enemy pushed you back because heaven was preparing to pull you forward. The backward pressure you felt was the setup for divine propulsion. You've lived through battles that were designed to exhaust you, but instead they exposed you not in weakness, but in purpose. Because every time someone thought they were stopping you, they were unknowingly helping you step into alignment. I've lived this. I've seen people try to block opportunities that God later multiplied. I've seen doors close violently, only for God to open a better one that made the previous closed door look like mercy. I've endured betrayals that felt like heartbreak in the moment, but became protection in hindsight. And I've learned this unshakable truth: when you are chosen, opposition becomes instruction. When you are chosen, rejection becomes redirection. When you are chosen, warfare becomes training. When you are chosen, silence becomes strategy. Anointed One, you've been in spiritual training without even realizing it. The heartbreak taught you discernment. The disappointment taught you boundaries. The betrayal taught you independence. The delay taught you patience. The isolation taught you intimacy with God. The hardship taught you resilience. Heaven was not punishing you. Heaven was preparing you. And now the reversal begins. Chosen One. This is the part of your journey where God does not merely restore, He overturns, He corrects, He rearranges, He repositions, He redeems. The very things the enemy meant to break you are being used as the pillars of your next season. Let me tell you what's happening in the Spirit. Heaven has shifted the weight from resistance to release. The warfare that once pressed against you is now collapsing behind you. The voices that once doubted you are being silenced by your becoming. The traps that were set for your destruction are becoming stepping stones for your destiny. This is divine reversal, and it's happening quietly in the silence God commanded you to keep. Chosen One. The reason you've been feeling a strange peace lately, the reason you've sensed a weight lifting, the reason your spirit feels lighter, is because God has already begun the reversal process. You no longer feel the pressure you once carried. You no longer fear what used to terrify you. You no longer shrink in the presence of opposition, because heaven has flipped the script. The story is changing. The tide is shifting. The wind is blowing in your favor. Chosen One, there is something heaven is making clear to your spirit in this hour. You are no longer being tested. You are being trusted. Trusted with breakthrough. Trusted with favor. Trusted with resources. Trusted with increase. Trusted with influence. Trusted with promotion. The attacks didn't disqualify you, they prepared you to handle what's coming. You're not stepping into breakthrough with a fragile spirit. You're stepping into it with wisdom. You're stepping into it with discernment. You're stepping into it with strength you didn't know you had. And now, because of everything you endured in silence, heaven is aligning something powerful in your favor. Sudden restoration, sudden justice, sudden recompense, sudden clarity, sudden breakthrough. The very areas where you felt robbed, God is returning with interest. The very places where you felt overlooked, God is spotlighting your name. The very seasons where you felt forgotten, God was documenting your faithfulness. Chosen One, the tables are turning. Not slowly, not gradually, suddenly. And the beauty of this reversal is that you don't have to fight for it, force it, explain it, or defend it. God is doing the vindicating. God is doing the restoring. God is doing the elevating. Your only assignment in this moment is to remain silent, remain aligned, remain expectant. Because the reversal is not coming, it has already begun. Chosen One. Everything in your life has been leading to this turning point. The silence, the separation, the warfare, the stillness, the waiting, none of it was accidental. Heaven has been building you quietly for a moment that will unfold loudly in the Spirit. You are stepping into a season where what once resisted you will now release you, where what once drained you will now strengthen you, and where what once felt delayed will now accelerate with divine force. Your spirit knows this shift is real. Your atmosphere knows. Even your enemies can sense it. You are crossing into the fulfillment of a promise written long before you understood your own calling. Chosen One, protect your peace, guard your silence, and anchor your faith, because the unveiling is near. What God has prepared for you is beyond what your mind has imagined, and the path ahead will not require striving, only obedience. You don't need to announce anything. You don't need to explain anything. Heaven is speaking on your behalf. Your breakthrough, your glow, your elevation, and your supernatural alignment will testify for you. Stand firm, stay hidden in God's timing, and stay ready, because the moment He reveals you, nothing and no one will be able to stop what He has ordained. Your time is not coming. Your time is here. Chosen one, as we come to the end of this sacred moment together, let your spirit rest in the truth that heaven has already begun to move on your behalf. What God is unfolding in your life is not future tense. It is happening now. You are standing inside your Kairos moment, the divinely chosen time, where what was whispered in silence begins to take shape in power. Anointed One. The transfer has already started. The alignment has already shifted. The atmosphere around you has already responded to God's command. Your only task now is to remain still, remain faithful, and remain sensitive to the quiet instructions of the Spirit. What is coming will meet you with ease. What is meant for you will recognize you. And what God has ordained for your hands cannot be taken, delayed, or denied. I speak over you peace that steadies, clarity that guides, and favor that surrounds. May every step you take be illuminated, every decision be Spirit-led, and every blessing be secured under heaven's protection. May your silence carry authority, and your obedience unlock doors no human hand could ever open. Chosen one. If this word settled in your spirit, simply whisper, "I receive it," in the comments as an act of faith. And if you feel led, stay connected to this space. There is more revelation, more guidance, and more divine alignment waiting for you. Until next time, walk in silence, walk in purpose, and walk in the power heaven has trusted you to carry. God bless you, chosen one.